I'm so curious about what you have. But yeah, episode 13.
Episode 13.
Hello,
Hi,
I'm Jess.
I'm Hids.
And we haven't done a little introduction in a while. We just kind of tend to
Just
start
get started.
talking. But yep, I'm Jess, in case you've forgotten. That's
I'm
who I
Hids.
am.
I'm Hids. That's who I am. Still me.
Yay.
Still here.
And welcome to our podcast. Jess and Hits make a podcast.
That's what we do. We make a podcast.
Yep.
It's fun.
And
here we go.
here we go. This is episode 13. So what's new?
What's new? Since the last time I talked to you, which was like 10 minutes ago.
Well,
Um,
no, we both kind of went our separate ways for a couple hours, scrambling to finish the research for this episode. So,
oh my gosh, so much.
So what you been up to?
I've been opening tabs and closing tabs and going, this is way too much, and I could probably do multiple episodes on this, but I pared it down as best I could. So We'll see. What have you been up to?
Same. Like, oh, this article says the exact same thing as this article, so I'm going to just choose one of them. And, oh, look, there's a couple of podcast episodes to listen to, but we record tonight, so don't have time for that. Yeah.
I ran into that with the squonk last week's episode, I think.
It was last week,
with the squonk. There were a lot There were a lot of links and articles and websites that had squonk stuff, but they were all like the same information. The YouTube video I used was actually the newest, different information, which was kind of fun, which is why I kind of latched onto it, I think.
That was a cool video.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it.
Follow more from that guy.
Yeah. So do you want to get started on this? Do you want to go? Okay.
I guess. Unless I do want to. Wow.
Sorry, I'm making all kinds of racket over here.
At the time this episode comes out, we will be
getting ready to get on a train and go to LA.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
If you're going to be in Galley, look for us.
Yeah.
Gallifrey 1.
Gallifrey 1, the Doctor Who convention. This is their 35th year.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
This would be the second time I've gone to the full event, but the third time I've gone and hung out, because like the first time I went, I didn't actually have tickets to the event, but I just met a bunch of people in the hotel lobby and we hung out.
Yeah. Was that the first time we met in person?
It was.
Yay! That was fun.
Yeah.
We talk so much and I've told you so much, like I've started inserting you into history before. I'll be like, do you remember when? And
yeah,
like, no, I didn't even know you existed.
It's funny. Like that's like a middle child thing. People will either insert me in scenarios that I was not involved in or think that I wasn't at a place that I actually was.
Oh, that's
It's like the typical overlooked middle child.
Oh, I'm sad.
It's cool. Or you could also say NPC energy.
I'm the baby, so everything revolves around me.
Yeah.
So therefore you were there.
Yeah. No.
Of course you were there.
Oh, man.
All
Okay. But
right.
yeah, look for us at Galley if you're here. And then
I feel like we need to like have some little special thing that will just like, if you find us and say, I listened to your podcast, we'll have like, I don't know, a special little sticker or something.
You know what we'll do? The next time we record, which won't actually be for the next, 2 episodes?
Something like
because
that.
we're going to pre-record before we head out. So I'm thinking episode 16. If you come up to us at Galley and say, hey, I love your podcast or something like that, acknowledge the podcast in some way. Even if you've never listened to it, just be like, hey, you guys have a podcast. Then we'll give you a shout out.
Hey, I love it.
In episode 16.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll totally do that. Excellent idea.
Because you found us in the wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like that's the biggest news. So let's roll.
Let's roll for it.
Oh, you got a 1.
I got a 1. Man, you've gone first. Like the
last,
several.
See. Last episode was first. I went first the one before that. I went first with the Pirates. I went
And
first with Katie.
I think you should just go first from now on.
No, that's not a precedent that I am willing to set. I would rather leave it up to the dice.
Okay. All right. The dice have decreed it.
What you talking about?
Dude, I got a 1. You go first. You got the higher number.
Oh yeah. See,
That's how numbers work.
I was thinking the one, it's a bad thing, so you have to go first. Oh my gosh.
Do you remember how numbers work?
No, I don't remember how this works. I remember how the dice work in games. The lower number means bad, and bad in my brain right now is going first. So
No, yeah.
Okay,
no,
fine.
You get to go. You get. Oh, cool. I've been dying to know your subject, so you can tell me.
Okay.
Finally.
Okay. This is a fun one, and I really enjoyed researching it, but the whole time, and I think one of the reasons it might have been so difficult for me to get through the research is because in the back of my mind, I had the imposter syndrome.
Oh, no.
Because I'm talking about the Brown Mountain Lights.
Oh, my gosh.
And this is like your local thing.
This is my local thing.
Yeah. The Brown Mountain in North Carolina. You used to live in that area.
Yeah.
So I'm like, kids should be talking about this, not me. But here we are.
Okay. Well, the cool thing is I know a little bit about the Brown Mountain Lights. Like I've heard of them. I've heard people, and I've heard people who say, "Oh yeah, I've seen those," but I know there's more to it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of one of those Appalachian spooky stories things. So
I love learning about Appalachian folklore.
I love it.
It's all over the place.
It's so all over the place.
I mean, every once in a while, like it's in my algorithm, so it'll pop up on social media, and I'm like, ooh, what is this spooky thing? Cool.
There's a lot of spooky stuff in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's what I hear. Yeah, now.
Good. I'm so excited. I put
I know
this
you put it
topic
in there, and
I'm
I was
so
like, what is
excited.
that? Brown Mountain Lights.
Yeah.
Are they brown lights? I didn't
Brown
even
lights
know
on a mountain.
Brown Mountain was a thing.
Oh yeah.
So
Cool. All right, cool. Educate me. I'm excited.
okay, so the Brown Mountain Lights are a series of mysterious and unexplained lights observed near the Brown Mountain in North Carolina. I said the Brown Mountain. It is Brown Mountain in North Carolina. It's a phenomenon that typically appears at night. Obviously, they appear as glowing orbs and can vary in color and size. There are also reports of them either staying stationary or darting around. It's just this unexplained phenomena that people have reported. Brown Mountain is located in western North Carolina in the United States, in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, which is part of the larger Appalachian mountain range. The mountain itself, Brown Mountain, is located between the towns of Morganton and Linville. None of that means anything to me because I never actually looked at it on a map.
Okay.
I'm just like...
Yeah, Morganton was about 20 or 30 minutes from where I lived. And then Linville was further deeper into the mountains.
So the early sightings of the Brown Mountain Lights, one of the sources I found said 1854, but then the rest of the sources said 1910, 1912, early 20th century. So I'm not sure, but Wikipedia said early 20th century and also said that after that, like in the 20th century, people started making up stories of seeing the lights way before.
Okay.
Yeah, the 1854 was possibly unresearched.
Like a made up,
yeah.
Oh yeah, my great saw them or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so
I
I'm
had
just going to
heard
say...
of them. I could be completely wrong. In my head, they're associated with like bootlegging and that sort of thing. So
yep, early 20th century is around the time where electric lighting was becoming more widespread. And that's actually one of the excuses people used to disprove the lights, saying, well, people weren't used to seeing such bright lights. And there were roads like in the mountainous regions and like train tracks and stuff. And we'll get into that.
Okay.
The theories. I'm just going to dive right into the theories of what these lights could be. And I'm going to start with the naysayers and the poo-pooers about this being anything supernatural.
Okay. I'm going to debunk it first and then
start with that and then get into
okay.
the wild theories.
Okay. I'm here for this. Let's go.
Awesome. Okay. So like I said, first recorded sightings was in 1912. And coincidentally, this was a year after the first English publications of Jules Verne's 1906 novel, Master of the World.
Oh.
It was a year after that. So this happened in 1911.
Okay.
An important plot point of the novel consists of a mad scientist constructing an airship inside his secret lair in Table Rock near Morganton, North Carolina. The dude building his little airship inside the mountains sort of caused strange lights to appear on the summit of the mountain.
Oh.
And so a year later, people started reporting mysterious lights in Brown Mountain. So all the poo-pooers say that, like, oh, people are just making that up because this whole science fiction story became popular and was in their heads.
Fun fact. I did not know that Jules Verne had a novel that took place in North Carolina.
Me either. Apparently, it's called Master of the World.
Okay, I'm gonna have to write that down.
Yeah.
I'm learning today. I love it.
Another thing that happened, the Southern Railway had recently, in 1909, I guess, had begun upgrading their locomotive headlamps to 600,000 candle power systems, which had a greater output than a lot of lighthouses that were used in that day. So like super bright lights were being used by trains around that time as well.
That makes perfect sense because, I mean, you know, we've been out here in the dark, but there's still like starlight and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you could still, the mountains of North Carolina at night are dark, like crazy dark, even in like populated areas because the foliage and everything is so dense and the trees are like kind of blocking views and the roads are twisty, turny and kind of curve around and it's just so dark. So yeah, big, powerful lights.
These lights were actually officially investigated a couple times by the United States Geological Survey Department, I guess. I don't know what it's called, but like USGS scientists went out a couple times, and once was in 1913 where the investigation, like obviously they don't have like high-tech equipment to investigate these lights. So it was determined in 1913 that it was the trains causing the lights. However, in July of 1916, a flood went through and sort of disrupted the train activity in the area. They had to rebuild some tracks, and the lights were still being reported during that time, even though there were no trains running.
Oh.
And even traffic in the area was not as frequent. The next study was done in 1922, where a scientist, again from the Geological Survey, George R. Mansfield, he used a map and an Alidade telescope to prove that the lights were being seen, that were being seen, were trains and car headlights and brush fires. This theory could possibly explain some of the instances where the lights appear to follow a linear, predictable path, like going down a road or train tracks, but it still doesn't explain the reports of the lights moving. Yeah, like erratic movement that was being reported. They would also like hover and then dart and then ascend. Cars don't do that.
Yeah. If your car does that, please let me know what kind of car you have.
Yeah. And then like lights have also, at that point, they were being reported from locations where the roads or tracks weren't visible or in direct line of sight from where they were being reported. Yeah. It didn't explain that. So it's still like official. It's been officially explained at this point, but the locals are not convinced. Another common explanation is that the lights are caused by swamp gas. This one, so swamp gas happens when decaying vegetation releases methane, which can spontaneously ignite when it comes into contact with oxygen. But the Brown Mountain region is not swampy. It's rocky terrain. It's easily disproved. It's thick vegetation. There's nothing there that would produce the swamp gas. Another explanation, possible scientific explanation, is foxfire, which is a bioluminescence produced by certain types of fungi on decaying wood. The mushrooms glow when enzymes in the fungi react with organic compounds, creating a soft glow. But that's just the problem. It's a soft glow. And
it's going to be stationary.
Yeah, and it's going to be stationary. So like it would not glow bright enough to be seen from a huge distance. And B, again, stationary. So that's disproved.
Unless somebody like picks up a fungi and runs through the forest.
And runs through the forest. But like...
Yeah, you're not going to do that.
It's still not going to be bright enough to be seen. So, and like mushrooms don't generally move around by themselves.
I mean, I hope not.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Well, actually, I mean, we don't. There's so much we don't know about
my
mushrooms.
Imagination just sparked there, and I'm like, ooh. Mushroom people. Okay, that's another theory that I am just putting out there.
Okay,
it's mushroom people that can make their bioluminescence extremely bright as a defense mechanism.
I love it.
I'll say that. Another possible explanation is St. Elmo's fire, and that is an electroluminescent plasma caused by a strong electric field in the atmosphere. It's a phenomena related to stormy weather, and it manifests as a glowing violet light, usually appears on pointed objects such as ship masts, airplane wings, longhorns of cattle, or even mountain peaks. Yeah, cattle. I pulled that right from one of the sources. Longhorns of cattle was an example that they gave. Okay. So
wait a minute. My brain, okay, hang on. Because I kind of started singing the old song, St. Elmo's Fire.
Uh-huh.
Because I didn't know what that was a thing.
Yeah, I learned that also. Like it's
this is a plasma reaction?
Electroluminescent plasma caused by a strong electric field in the atmosphere. So storm weather conditions, and it manifests as a glowing violet light, and it usually appears on pointed objects. I don't know. I would like to dive into the science of that.
I do too. Can we put that on the list?
Yeah, St. Elmo's fire is going on the list.
Fire. I'm going to pull a list up and put that on there really quick.
Yeah, I didn't do a deep dive into that just because I wanted to stick to the subject, but that can definitely be a rabbit hole that we can explore later.
Okay.
It's a whole mess in my head right now.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about mushroom people running around the forest and flashing
with pointed caps with plasma and
so that's what it is. It's St. Elmo's fire on these foxfire mushrooms.
And the combination of the two, the bioluminescence
and they're running around
electric plasma. Oh my gosh. Okay.
The problem with St. Elmo's fire, again, it's tied to stormy conditions, but not all the reports have come on nights where storms are happening.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So St. Elmo's fire might explain some of it, but not all of it. And again, I can't imagine St. Elmo's fire is a particularly bright occurrence.
And it seems like it would not be long lasting, and it's not going to do the erratic. I mean, if it's on a cow is not known for their speed and erratic, and they don't go in the air. So, I mean, there's got to be a bit of...
So it's like, oh my gosh, you know what it is, though? New theory. Okay, we have our mushroom people glowing with foxfire.
Okay.
And we have our longhorn cattle with the St. Elmo's fire on their horns.
Okay.
So, like, what if...
It's a myconic rodeo.
It's a rodeo, yes.
That's the name of this episode, the myconic rodeo.
Whenever the longhorn cattle gore, or like just not like gore, whenever the horns come into contact with these glowing mushroom caps, they spark and causes the Brown Mountain Lights.
We have solved it after 100+ years. We have solved the Brown Mountain Light.
Mushroom rodeo. That's going to be the name of the episode.
The mushroom rodeo.
Mushroom rodeo and whatever you're talking about. I don't know.
Chaos. Utter chaos.
Yes. Okay. One more not fun theory before we get into the fun theories.
Okay.
Ball lightning, which is, I guess, kind of a fun theory because scientists don't have a real explanation for what ball lightning actually is or what causes it or
And isn't
anything.
there kind of like, oh, that doesn't actually exist? It's all made up, but...
I think it exists. It's luminescent spherical objects that vary from pea size to several meters in diameter. And unlike typical lightning, it can last longer and move in various directions. So that would explain the erratic movement and the brightness of the lights. But it is very rare. It's poorly understood and also associated with stormy conditions.
Yeah. Clear night, you're not really going to get that.
Yeah. So again, not likely to be ball lightning. So the good stuff.
Okay, let me
The good theories.
this is the fun stuff.
Spirit orbs or ghosts.
Okay.
There are a lot of stories here, and I'm just going to give a quick run through. So one of the stories is it could be Cherokee spirits, particularly from the souls of women searching for loved ones lost in battle. The first publication that mentioned that particular story was in the Asheville Citizen in 1938, and it was the only one, or the first one, to reference Native American culture at all. Native American experts, historical experts, said that it was a myth invented by white people to justify their own beliefs in the lights. Like, oh, it's a ancient Native American spirits.
If you can't explain it, it was the Native American spirits.
Right.
Yeah.
So unlikely.
Unlikely.
So there's a new variant of an older ghost story about a woman and a baby that were murdered in the Jonas Ridge community. That story actually became the first published ghost story to incorporate the lights, and that happened in 1936.
Okay.
Some of the newer ghost stories about the lights include one about a Revolutionary War soldier that was first published in 1982. Another story linking the lights to Civil War ghosts was also seen in 2012 on the internet. So it seems like the Civil War stuff is kind of a newer.
That's interesting because I have heard that it's Civil War spirits or whatever, because that area is steeped everywhere you go. It's a battle was fought here.
Yeah.
There's always.
But yeah, I guess 1982 was the first time that the lights have been sort of associated with.
That's interesting.
Or no, that was Revolutionary War was 1982. It was 2012 that it was linked to the Civil War. So another wild story. Aliens. Aliens had to come into play at some point.
Of course.
So the UFO movement began to influence the Brown Mountain lore in the mid-20th century. And at some point, that transition, it wasn't always there. The stories surrounding the lights never involved UFOs until the mid-20th century. And a lot more recent stories feature close encounters.
Okay.
Close
encounters of which kind? Because there's
I know
first,
there
second,
are
third
kinds,
kind is the contact, right?
There's one story that's definite contact.
Oh my goodness.
And that I'm actually trying to find. Did I take that out of my notes?
No, don't take the aliens out.
No, not the aliens.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
getting to that. But there was something that Wikipedia said about how the stories are evolving.
Okay.
With the cultural expectations is the word that they used. And I thought that was interesting because Appalachia is so steeped in lore. There is a cultural expectation to sort of keep that lore alive. And so it's always being added to. And I think that's such an interesting concept.
That's very
great.
Cool. That's something I've not really thought of, but I can see that it's probably, I'm sure it's in use everywhere.
Yeah. And I love that aspect of folklore.
Yeah.
I love folklore in general.
Oh, yeah,
and
same.
I love how it can morph and, get twisted and warped and just evolve.
The way it shifts.
I love that humans will forever be storytellers.
100%.
Speaking of storytellers.
Yes.
Ralph Lyell was a furniture salesman in Hickory, North Carolina.
Oh, I love Hickory.
He pretty much had a neutral reputation. He was totally normal guy.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, man. That's how all the best stories start.
Yeah. So he heard stories about the lights and decided to check them out himself in 1961. And he ended up finding them.
Oh.
After a few trips to the forest. He described them as translucent with a brown core shaped kind of like a beetle.
Okay.
And the orb was made of plasma, like this plasma material, and it just glowed really, really brightly. When he found the orbs, there was like a moment where his body went numb and the orbs seemed to be scanning him.
Oh,
and then they were like, cool, and they started floating away.
Oh.
So he followed them. He followed them to a cave. Deep in the cave, there were massive crystals that he said seemed to be carved with laser accuracy. So he's in this crystal cave. He followed these orbs into the crystal cave, and he heard, there was a boulder rolled over the entrance to the cave that magically moved when the orbs approached it. So they also have telekinesis.
Okay.
And so once he went into the cave, the boulder rolled back into place. So now he's like trapped in the cave with the orbs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually he apparently got out.
Oh, yeah.
To tell his story. Okay.
He got a lot, actually.
Oh, okay.
So as this boulder was closing over the entrance, he heard a voice telling him not to be afraid. And he was like, okay.
Okay, cool.
And the orb said it was a gas-based life form from Venus. And as aliens are wont to do, this orb proceeded to tell Ralph the secrets of the universe.
Oh, good job. Okay.
Do you want to hear the secrets of the universe?
Yes. I've been dying to hear this my entire life.
So keep in mind, this is in 1961.
Okay.
Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Humans aren't originally from Earth. Did you know that?
I've always wondered.
Yeah,
I've always had this feeling that I just don't belong.
Humans came from a planet called Pewam.
Pewam?
P-E-W-A-M. Pewam?
Okay.
Pewam was destroyed after humans began splitting electrons.
It started out electrons and it became, we cut the bread in half. So,
Cut the bread.
There's nothing to worry about.
We cut the bread and we split the atom. How about that?
Hey.
The orbs warned Ralph that humans were on the verge of destroying themselves again, splitting electrons.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it was up to Ralph, and Ralph alone, to warn everyone of the danger.
Okay.
If Ralph failed, the Venusians would destroy humanity and save the planet.
Do we need to tell them that he failed?
I don't know. Venetians, where are you? He failed.
Venetians? He failed.
Yeah. Where are you now? Venusians, not Venetians. The orbs from Venus. After giving Ralph this enormous task of warning humanity to stop what they're doing, they said, okay, see ya, you can come back anytime and we'll tell you more secrets, but you can go now.
Okay, go now. Bye.
So he did. He left. But then
I would have never left. I would have been like, no.
I'm like, no, tell me more secrets
Listen,
now.
they're not going to listen to me. I'm just a furniture salesman. I'm just going to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Can we just go to Pewam? No, wait. Venus?
No, that was destroyed. Humans destroyed
right,
their own
I forgot.
planet.
Can we go to Venus or somewhere, anywhere? You obviously have interstellar travel. So.
Buckle up.
Oh,
because he goes back. To the cave.
Okay.
On this second trip, I forgot to say that they said you can only come back if you keep the cave a secret. That's why he didn't tell anybody.
Oh.
He had to keep he was told to warn humans, but he had to keep the cave a secret.
So I was hanging out in the mountains, and Venusian said...
No. He probably couldn't even talk about them.
Oh,
he just had to go warn the people. I can't tell you how I know this, but we're going to destroy the world if we keep doing what we're doing. So maybe stop.
Not wrong, but
yeah,
okay.
Okay, so keep the cave a secret, and then he can learn more of secrets of the universe. So his return trip, the orb offered to take Ralph in one of the hidden spacecraft that they had inside the cave, inside the mountain.
Dang.
How'd they get the spacecraft in the... I said that word, spacecraft.
Spacecraft.
How did they get it in the cave? In the mountain.
Maybe that's Venusian accent.
Spacecraft.
Spacecraft into the mountain.
You like to come into my spacecraft into the mountains. I apologize to anybody who comes from a place that accent could possibly resemble. I don't know what that place is.
It's a mess.
I apologize to Venusians.
I apologize to the Venusians.
Yeah.
If they would like to come abduct us, we are at our address.
Spacecraft. Okay. So they take him to the spacecraft that they have stored in the cave.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, let's go to Venus. And so they take him.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
He was greeted by a bunch of Venusians, and he described them as being like more beautiful versions of humans, except the orbs on Earth said they were a gas-like form of whatever.
Yeah.
So, but whatever. Apparently,
Maybe they like kind of transmuted to be appealing to him.
I don't know.
him
And
feel more
maybe it explains
comfortable?
that in his book because yes, he has a book. I didn't freaking write down the title of the book. Anyway, you could just Google it.
Okay.
Anyway, so they take him to Venus and he sees these gorgeous people, but unfortunately, all of them appear to be men. Except for one gorgeous woman
Of course.
that he immediately runs over to and starts worshiping. And apparently, this woman is the Queen of Venus.
Starts worshiping her.
Yep.
Like just, wow. Okay.
And he's just at her feet, worshiping her. And the Queen of Venus takes Ralph by the hand. And this is that kind of alien abduction story.
Oh.
Takes her into her chambers.
Oh.
Or takes Ralph into her chambers. And yeah,
Okay.
stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
Smutty stuff.
The book is only 28 pages long, so not a lot of smutty stuff
Oh,
happened,
maybe he doesn't
apparently.
go into detail, I guess, which is
Probably good. I'm good. I'm okay with
wanna-
that. I don't need to know that.
I don't want to know. They got it on. The furniture salesman, Ralph, and the alien queen of Venus. So that happened, and she was like, I don't know what the queen did after that, but I guess the Venusians gave him a little tour of their culture while he was visiting and then sent him back to Earth. As he's leaving the cave, Ralph saw what looks like a dead body, only to discover that it was a dead mummified alien, but like not an
Wait.
alien. It's
I'm
not
so
one of the
confused.
Venusians, and it's not like it's a humanoid. It's short, but it looks like a gray, like a typical gray alien. So
Okay.
like not like anything he's seen. So the Venusians are like, you can take that as proof of
Oh.
but like this looks nothing like them. So like why I don't know. I
What?
don't understand what's happening here.
I'm so
But like he
confused.
has this mummified alien body now that he then takes to his furniture store and displays. And of course that immediately attracts attention and customers are like weirded out, but it attracts ufologists. And they're trying to verify it to see if it's real. Apparently, the men in black also paid him a visit.
Oh. Okay.
And officially declared that it was just a tourist trap and a hoax, not a real alien. But then they turned around and offered Ralph a very large sum of money for the mummy.
Mm-hmm.
And Ralph wouldn't sell it.
Well, I wouldn't either.
I think maybe all of this is also in Ralph's book. I don't know if Men in Black actually, or any government official actually visited the shop to see if this mummy was real. But
All
there
I
you
want
go.
to know is the mummy still somewhere in Hickory? Because I need to go see it on the next
So
trip.
after Ralph died in 1978, the shop was demolished.
Aw.
Nobody knows what happened to the mummy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's still a mystery.
Oh,
So
that's just sad. If you are in Western North Carolina and you know what happened to Ralph Lale's
Mummy?
alien mummy, please send us an email at jessandhids@gmail.com because
Yes.
we need to know.
we got to know. I want to know.
We don't want to buy it. Just send us a picture and be like, hey, I have it. It was in my grandpa's attic
Yeah,
the whole time.
yeah. That would be
That would be fantastic.
really cool. So all of that apparently is in his book, but I got it from a podcast called Our Weird World.
Okay.
And I was actually pretty entertained. It was just a short little, like 20-minute episode. I want to subscribe to that podcast. The host, John Henson, was pretty entertaining. I thought he was funny. I just have a couple other fun things. That was
Okay.
the end of the alien story.
Okay.
A couple other fun things
I
about
need
the
to
lights,
know
though.
what happened to
I know. I want to know where the mummy
the
went.
mummy. Yes.
And I want to get my hands on this little book that he wrote. Hey, North Carolina people,
Yes.
please get one
Get one. Send
and
it
mail
to me.
it to us.
Yes, please.
Please, we will pay you for it.
Yes.
So contact us.
jessandhids@gmail.com.
Yep. All right. So the first recorded video footage of the lights, allegedly, was from the League of Energy Materialization and Unexplained Phenomena Research, or LEMUR for short. LEMUR. They just left out the phenomena part of that acronym.
The P is silent.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So LEMUR for short.
Okay.
Which is a paranormal research team based in Asheville, North Carolina. And I will link that video in the show notes as well. Their lab work on their relationship between the lights and the earth plasmas, whatever earth plasmas are, it earned them the cover of the scientific journal Electric Spacecraft, published by NASA Hall of Fame engineer Charles Yost.
Okay.
So this paranormal investigation team, research team, they've also been featured on TV, Discovery Channel, other places that I didn't list in my notes but read about like an hour ago and have left my brain.
Okay.
So they do have a website. That will be where I link the video. Oh, I didn't put this in my notes, but the head researcher, the guy who formed this team, he has a class on how to be a paranormal investigator for only $500.
Oh.
You can learn how to be a paranormal investigator. And that's a discount from $1,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I'm in the wrong business, my dude. I mean, there's an app on your phone for being an EMF reader or something crazy.
He'll teach you how to do it the proper way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave the hooey bull crap at home. This is how you be a real scientific paranormal investigator.
Okay.
Yes.
Wink, wink. Okay.
Give me $500 and I'll tell you my secrets.
Okay.
But you can't tell anybody about this crystal cave.
or the mummy I have in my attic. The alien mummy I have in my attic.
So another fun thing I'm going to add to the list of festivals that we should visit.
Okay.
Because there is an annual Brown Mountain Lights Festival.
Sweet.
It's sort of it's a festival. They don't take themselves too seriously. It's an alien-themed music festival that takes place each October in Morganton, North Carolina.
I've heard of this, and it's been one of those like, I should go check that out at some point.
It's recent. I think this year will be their 4th year.
Oh.
4th or 5th.
Is this like I'm rewriting history? I feel like I've heard of it, and I wonder if I just like looked it up somewhere in the past.
I don't know. But like they have a Facebook page. They don't have like an official website or anything, but they have a Facebook page, and I can link that too.
Yeah, we'll add that to our list.
Definitely looks very kitschy, but also just right up our alley.
Appalachia is kitschy, man.
Yeah.
I love it. It's the best kind of kitsch.
Yeah. So October.
If you want to support
Become
us
our patron
in
supporter.
our future traveling so we can do more podcasting, you can become a patron at patreon.com/JessandHids. Shameless plug.
Very shameless. In fact, we beg.
We are not shamed to beg.
Yeah, shamed to beg.
Ashamed. Did I say what?
We are not shamed to beg is what you said.
I meant ashamed. We are not ashamed.
Ashamed.
Ashamed. Ain't too proud to beg.
Ain't too proud to beg.
I feel like mine is going to be like not as exciting as yours.
That's okay. I think people might need to come down from the excitement of
come down from the
Ralph's
aliens.
little alien abduction.
Ralph's aliens.
Oh boy,
man, I did not know about
Getting
Ralph's. I knew that
with the Queen of Venus.
I see that you have a guest.
I have a guest.
It's our old friend Gorlick.
Yeah.
we have this giant. I think he's called like a disco ball alien or something.
I mean, he certainly looks like a disco ball.
He definitely looks like a disco ball.
Yeah.
I love it. Gorlick, do you have anything you'd like to say in regards to Ralph's allegations against the Queen of Venus?
It's all crap.
There you have it.
My buddy Gorlick and me.
I feel like my subject is just not going to be, I mean, I'm interested in it. It's just a complete shift from where we were.
That's cool. That's what we do.
That is what we do. It is what we do. So I'm going to talk about AI.
Oh, goodness. Can we just swear a lot? AI what? Like, what are you talking about? I don't know.
The evolution of AI. AI through the ages, if you will.
That's on our list?
Yes, it is on our list.
Oh,
Actually,
I did not know that was a topic that we had.
it is a topic that is on our list. I believe it's another topic that was sent in by one of our listeners, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's Chris's topic. Okay.
And this, like, I honestly found way too much information on everything. So I'm going to break it down and hit the points that I actually want to talk about today. What I'm going to do first is give you a quick timeline of AI, because this is a thing that I did not know. I mean, I knew like computers have been a thing for a long time,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize how long. Like AI didn't register in my brain as like, I'm just like, oh, AI is this new thing.
Yeah.
Computers have been around forever, but computers have been taught to do things, which is the kind of the definition of artificial intelligence.
Uh-huh.
The first time that we can define AI or artificial intelligence is in 1942.
Wait.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No.
I wasn't either.
What?
I want to say it's the bomb machine, or it might be Bomba machine, Bombe. It was designed by Alan Turing during World War II.
I know who that is.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard the name before.
I've heard the name
I
before.
Obviously don't know him, but
Well, I never was introduced, so. But it was a turning point. It was a computer that was used to crack the German communications.
Okay, yeah.
Coding. That was the first use of a machine to do these large computations and kind of figure out this code that up to that point humans couldn't figure out, code crackers couldn't figure out. And I found this interesting. It helped speed up the decoding of messages, which allowed the Allies to react and strategize within a few hours instead of days or weeks that it would take like a human to kind of decode everything.
Yeah.
And the formula was based on observing that each German message contained a known piece of German plain text at a known point in the message. It was based on like, we know at this point in the message, there's going to be a specific term or a simplified meaning statement. And so it kind of built off of that. Then we moved to 1950. Again, Alan Turing. He crafted another experiment to test for machine intelligence. And this was to see if the machine, given specific parameters, could think and make decisions as rationally and intelligently as a human being.
Interesting.
1950. Like,
that's crazy.
I'm like, what? An interrogator asked questions and had to figure out if the answer belonged to a human or to the machine. So if the interrogator couldn't figure out, then the machine would pass the test of being indistinguishable, the machine's answer, which I was like,
that's crazy.
I like I said, like I could sit and seriously deep dive into just this point of information.
Yeah.
So then we move into 1955 and John McCarthy. He is known as the father of AI. He was an American computer scientist who coined the term artificial intelligence at the Dartmouth Conference, which was the first ever AI conference held in 1956. So the objective of this was to design a machine that would be capable of thinking and reasoning like a human. He believed that this breakthrough would unquestionably
Words are hard for both of us today.
Unquestionably happen within 5 to 5,000 years.
Oh, goodness.
He gave a range there.
Unquestionably. Yeah, I can give that range too, unquestionably.
I know, right? He also created the Lisp computer language in 1958, which became the AI standard programming language.
Wow.
1958. Next, we move into 1961 with Unimate, which became the first industrial robot. And this was created by George Devol. So Unimate was used on a General Motors assembly line to transport die castings and to weld these parts on to cars. In 1964, the first chatbot.
What?
Right? The first chatbot is called Eliza. She was invented by Joseph Weizenbaum at the Artificial Intelligence Laboratory at MIT. Eliza is a psychotherapeutic robot that gives pre-fed responses to the users so that they feel they're talking to someone who understands their problems.
Okay. So it's a bit like automated messaging.
Like automated messages, yeah. So, but like they feed in all of these different responses to different questions that may come up, so that when you do ask these questions, the message comes back and it feels like, oh, yeah, okay, you knew exactly what I was talking about, just because they've put so much information.
So was it like a keyword filter sort of that they use, sort of like, I mean, that's how chatbots.
Yeah, I mean, like now we have like keywords and stuff, and I think this was, you had to like type in a certain very specific way of talking to it, because it was very refined for its time. But
for sure.
In comparison now, like clunky. And I just remember the scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where he was like, this computer is going to tell me where to find the last Wonka ticket. And he types it in and the computer says, I'm not going to tell you, that would be cheating. And he's like, I'm going to tell the computer. And he's like pushing buttons. Now I'm going to tell the computer exactly what it can do. But it's that sort of clunky thing. Okay, now we go to 1969 and we meet Shaky the robot. Which I think is, I'm like, I want to know more about Shaky. Shaky is titled as the first general-purpose mobile robot. It was able to reason with its own actions.
I just looked up a picture.
It's very cute, isn't it? It's your typical little, it reminds me of Johnny Five from Short Circuit.
Oh,
kind of that odd shape there. It could perceive its surroundings, infer implicit facts from explicit ones, create plans, recover from errors in plan execution, and communicate using ordinary English. It had a television monitor and little whiskers that would detect when it would come into close contact to any object. It could turn around.
That's so cute.
And it would actually look ahead and plan the route to avoid obstacles that it could see.
Aw.
So it's kind of, I mean, that's 1969. Like we've got these Roombas.
The
giant Roomba. Shaky communicated with a teletype and a CRT display. They also judged how Shaky reacted to pranks and then gave me no further information on the pranks. So that was 1969. The next big jump in AI is not until 1995.
Okay.
It's another chatbot called Alice.
Go ask Alice.
I think she'll know. Alice was created by Richard Wallace and was released on November 3rd of 1995. It's inspired by the chatbot Eliza, but there were major tweaks that made Alice more exceptional. It was strengthened by a natural language processing, which is a program that converses with humans by applying algorithmic pattern matching rules that enable the conversation to flow more naturally.
Okay.
Alice has won many awards and accolades, and also inspired the Spike Jonze movie, 2013 Spike Jonze movie called Her, which I think was Joaquin Phoenix, right?
I think so.
Okay,
I never saw it, but it's sparking a memory.
Yeah, I don't think I watched it, but he kind of like falls in love with the chatbot or something. I don't remember. I could, and if I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Then we jump ahead to 1997 and the computer Deep Blue. I do remember like hearing about Deep Blue and how they've basically put in every chess move ever in the history of chess. And they put it up against the world champion Garry Kasparov, and it won, which is like,
that's cool.
That's very cool. So that was 1997. Deep Blue beats Garry Kasparov. 1998, we meet Kismet, which means fate.
Yes.
But Kismet was one of the first robots to be able to equally demonstrate social and emotional interactions with humans. Had this little cartoonish face and always had the ability to engage with people and make them smile. It's very cute. I'm going to show you a little picture. Very cute little robot.
So cute.
It's got big purple eyes.
Aw.
The code to run and develop Kismet took the developers 2.5 years to write.
Dang. That's
which
crazy.
Is nuts to me. They had vocalizations, facial expressions, and motor capabilities to adjust the gaze direction of the eyes and tilt the head to kind of have a variety of emotions like disgust, surprise, sadness, keen interest, calmness, and infuriation. And like it could just be like, I'm so angry. Like it would just change the way its face looked to express these emotions.
That's funny.
And then we go to 2002, the Roomba.
Uh-huh.
This is what I want my AI to do. Clean.
Yes.
That's what I want AI to do. I will do all the other things.
And drive.
Just clean and drive.
Yeah.
In 2008, we get voice recognition on the iPhone, and we are introduced to Siri.
Uh-huh.
So this is when we also meet Alexa and Google Home. At this time, it says, although highly inaccurate initially, significant updates, upgrades, and improvements have made voice recognition a key feature of artificial intelligence. And I think anybody who has a smartphone, hey Siri, hey Alexa, you've got that voice recognition. With the rise of these voice assistants, you can now search and order. You can just, hey, order this on Amazon. Hey, do this. Hey Alexa, give me. And I'm sorry if you're listening to this and your Alexa is going off right now.
Oh, hey Alexa, add chocolate to the shopping list. Hey Siri, add chocolate to the shopping list.
I think my phone just dinged.
There you go. You're welcome.
You're
for
welcome.
That, by the way.
You're welcome for that, everyone.
Everybody needs chocolate.
So then we've got these voice recognitions and all these different things. And then we move to 2011, we get Watson, IBM Watson, which was a result of Jeopardy!
What?
The famous quiz show Jeopardy! Resulted in the development of Watson.
I don't know what Watson is.
Watson is a question answering computer system capable of answering questions posed in natural language. So instead of having to type it in binary or in a code, computer code, you can just ask the question. It helps you predict and shape future outcomes, automate complex processes, and optimize your employees' time. So Watson came out of Jeopardy! And in 2011 competed against the champions Brad Rutter and Ken Jennings and won the first place prize of $1 million on the show.
Oh my gosh.
Which I'm kind of that seems a little unfair.
It does, because Jeopardy! Questions are Googleable.
I'm amazed at contestants on Jeopardy! Because they have so much information that they can access quickly.
If Jeopardy! Contestants were allowed to just look it up on their phone, they would have a lot of answers.
Oh yeah.
So that's
and
what
I think
Watson is doing.
That's
I think
part
that's
of
cheating.
It's
giving the contestants a search engine.
Yeah, the contestants have to remember and know information. They don't know it ahead of time. And I guess technically Watson doesn't know what questions are going to be there.
Yeah, so that is impressive.
Has all that information.
Yeah, it has access to those databases.
Easily accessible, more than just a human brain can really access quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of Okay, continuing on our timeline. 2014, we get the big addition of Alexa. The virtual assistant, the Google Home, really gets in there, and it can actually filter your voice from a room. So I am sorry if you're listening to this and your Google Home is going off right now and ordering whatever.
I'm not sorry.
I know. I kind of am having a little fun.
Hey Alexa, order a pizza. I might be a little sorry for that one if it actually does go through, because that would cost you money. But
but you want pizza.
You're welcome
anyway.
for pizza.
You're welcome for pizza.
Yeah.
In 2016, we meet Sophia, created by Hanson Robotics. Sophia is a humanoid robot that, with the help of artificial intelligence, Sophia can imitate humans' facial expressions, language, speech skills, and opinions on predefined topics, and is designed so that she can get smarter over time. She was activated in February of 2016 and was introduced to the world later that same year. Thereafter, she became a Saudi Arabian citizen, making her the first robot to achieve a country's citizenship.
Wow.
And she was also named the first innovative champion by the United Nations Development Program. The inspiration behind her appearance is a combination of actress Audrey Hepburn, the Egyptian queen Nefertiti, and the wife of Sophia's inventor.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'll put a picture of her when we do the post.
Yeah.
And there, to go along with this, there is a book that is a suggested reading called Intents and Entities, the Building Blocks of an AI Chatbot. And I kind of want to I might read that, but I don't know. It might be one of those really technical things.
Yeah. It might not hold my interest.
Yeah, it might not. I had the Computer History Museum. I'm going to talk a little bit about the site I found there. And it is kind of fascinating what they talk about on, but they had a whole panel. They actually have, if you're really into this, they actually have a lot of panels on their website, computerhistory.org.
Oh, cool.
And you can go and listen to, they'll just panelists talking about computers and the history of computers. And some of it, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then like I was just watching like little 5-minute clips.
Uh-huh.
And then some of them I was like, oh, I'm glad you're only talking for like 5 minutes because I could not listen to you. The last thing on this list, 2017, we meet Amper, who is the first AI musician, producer, and composer to create and put out an album. I know.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to come back to
Okay.
that. But it did happen. Amper does help musicians by helping them express themselves through original music. So the technology is built with a combination of music theory and AI innovation.
Okay.
It does say Amper was particularly created on account of a partnership between musicians and engineers. So it was done purposely.
Yeah.
And their song Break Free marks the first collaboration between an actual human musician and AI. Together, Amper and the singer Taryn Southern co-produced the music album called I Am AI.
All right.
I'm going to go kind of deep dive and find that album and give it a listen just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm curious enough to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to 2020. We meet GPT-3, which is short for Generated Pre-trained Transformer. This came in May of 2020, and it is a tool used for automated conversations. So like Chat GPT, where you can just kind of put in a conversation and it'll actually kind of talk with you.
Yeah.
Such as responding to any text that a person types in with a new piece of text that is contextually appropriate. And I remember 2020, everybody was on their computers, like, because we had nothing else to do. So it learns, it's based on natural language, deep learning, and OpenAI, which enables it to learn and create sentence patterns, not just text. So it can actually create a sentence that flows instead of a doot, 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 doot.
Yeah.
It can add the nuances that we add with human speech.
Huh.
And then 2024, the present standing of AI. Artificial intelligence has undeniably become a reliable tool in the workforce. And I'm going to quote this from this article. It is incorporated in search engine algorithms, customer support chatbots, analyzing and processing big data, and simplifying complex processes. Moreover, AI has merged an alliance with cybersecurity. As it learns more about the attacks and vulnerabilities that occur over time, it becomes more potent in launching preventative measures against a cyber attack. And I did read somewhere else that it can craft 5 layers of security in like so much less time than it would take a human programmer to create that level of security in an unbreakable unbreakable code. I really do believe that AI has a place.
AI definitely has a place. Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to get into my pet peeve. AI and creativity.
Yeah, that is not where AI needs to be. Just going to say it.
I'm going to say it. And then I'm going to tell you why my opinion might have changed a little bit, but not completely.
Okay.
I actually found 2 articles that I'm going to use. One is very pro AI in creativity. I'm going to give a little bit of each of those. The first one I found is chasejarvis.com, which is a blog. The article said, the question is AI the end of creativity or just the beginning? Okay, so the writer says they were traveling with friends and they used an AI tool to create a song in like 24 seconds. They put in a prompt that said, a teenage boy and his teenage girlfriend run away to a deserted island to open a lemonade stand. Style is Swedish electronic dance, 1 or 2 verses that repeat, so it's a great sing-along, simple lyrics. 24 seconds later, they had a song. He said, we had a catchy tune that we couldn't help but sing for days. It was fun and it was easy. And then immediately his readers are like, this is a quote that one reader hit back like immediately on this blog. You have just perfectly demonstrated the tragic nature of AI-created music. You didn't create anything, you entered text. You're not an artist from entering text into a text field.
Mm-hmm.
I agree
Yeah.
with this statement. What he says in the rest of this article, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but his stance on this is that it's not a replacement for creativity. It's a tool to use. He compares it to art was paintings.
Yeah.
And then we got photography. And painters were like, no, don't kill painting with photography. You're taking away the time and the effort put into painting a picture.
Okay.
And now you've got this. And then we moved to black and white, like you had the plate photography where it took a long time to do the processing. And then you moved to film.
Uh-huh.
And then you moved to color and then Polaroid and then digital. And every aspect, every new innovation was met with, no, this is going to destroy what was.
Okay.
And he says, but it didn't. And I would argue that in a way it did. You can't just run out and buy a film camera
Yeah.
the way you used to be able to. There are like some like retro film cameras you can buy, and there are still places where you can buy film.
Yeah. But they're more novelty.
It's more novelty and it's more kind of a hobby
Uh-huh.
than just going out, and now we have digital photography where you can take thousands and thousands of photos until you get just the exact right one instead of, and you have it within seconds instead of waiting and hoping you caught it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
developing your film and being like, oh man, I missed the perfect shot that I saw with my eye, And then Photoshop comes along and you can enhance photos and you can recreate photos and you can completely
Manipulate.
change a photo.
Yeah.
Skill still matters.
Yeah.
It's not just taking a picture and getting rid of, an annoying thing in the background.
Yeah.
It's composing a picture and making a picture a pleasing picture and being aware of what's around what's in your background.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where this guy says, like, you still need skill. You still need to know composition. You still need to create this image and evoke this emotion with your imagery.
Uh-huh.
It still takes to create true art, even using AI, you still have to understand composition.
Uh-huh.
That's what he's saying in this article is you can still use this and still be an artist and still be a creator.
Uh-huh.
He talks about this creative live instructor, Elise Swopes. She began creating art and photography just with her iPhone. So it says through consistent practice and output, she developed a unique style that blends urban photography with surreal digital manipulations. But she led this hobby into a notable recognition, including collaborations with major brands and the sale of her digital artwork, some over $200,000 a piece.
Dang.
But it wasn't the fact that it was a smartphone and she could just do everything on the smartphone. She still had to find the imagery that she wanted for the vision that she had.
Yeah.
So she still had to have that instinct and the knowledge of putting together a picture or seeing a picture and capturing it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had this digital enhancement that kind of made it surreal. So you had to still know, like, okay, I want this urban setting and I know that I'm going to do this surreal take on it.
Yeah.
So she still had to have this. And that became, so even though she had this she just used her iPhone, she still was creating art
Yeah.
using AI as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have my reservations with AI and art come from two things. Typing in, I want this, and popping up a picture that has been trained on scanning hundreds of artists' work that have been posted online, because
Yes.
that's where everything has to be posted to have a career as an
Uh-huh.
artist. You have to use online.
Yeah.
The computer systems scan that and they use that to create this, a picture based on the text field that you have filled in.
Uh-huh.
My issue is that when the person who creates, I quote, air quote, that piece of art by this AI prompt, then takes it and says, look at this artwork I created.
Yeah.
No, you did not.
Mm-hmm.
You are stealing artists' work
Yes.
and using it to create something different. that's where we need oversight. And I could go on a complete huge rant. You've heard me rant this before.
Yeah, we have talked about this.
We have talked about this. When I got this topic, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to behave.
Yeah.
Because this is a near and dear subject to me for two reasons. One, artists who have worked their entire lives for their careers and have learned and learned and learned are seeing their works
in other
people's AI generated stuff. And they're not getting any credit for it. They're not getting any compensation for it. Their work is basically being stolen and transmuted.
They don't give permission for it.
Yeah.
And it's not just visual arts, it's writing, it's podcasting.
It's voicing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, AI is learning voices and learning the way someone talks and what they talk about and producing sound bites in their voices. And nothing is real. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah. And just us with this podcast, just putting our voices out there, we are now feeding into the machine. And feeding into the makes me sound like a crazy cuckoo person, but we are now making ourselves visible to AI, who can then take sound bites of our voice and use them in other places without our permission or our knowledge.
And that is where I have the issue with AI. And it's not so much AI, it's people who are using that, using it to create their own content and not acknowledging that it's from something else, or selling, creating a piece of art and saying, this is all mine because I typed a prompt into a text field.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, but it's not though.
Yeah, it's not all yours.
So my hope is that as things move forward with AI and it grows, because it's going to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no stopping it, and it's going to have a place in our future, very near. It has a place now. It's going to have a bigger place. And there needs to be some form of regulation or an opt-in and opt-out. I mean, there has to be some way to not have your content stolen or scanned without your permission and used in that way. Inspiration, not imitation. I do want to caveat that the using of AI to create art, I feel that in different sectors, it is very, very important and useful, because someone perhaps who doesn't have the fine motor skills to hold a paintbrush or a pencil and create a minute or a very detailed piece of art that they have in their head, but they can't get it out.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen that too. I think I don't know if it was a public post or one of my actual Facebook friends was saying that they use AI in their library. Mm-hmm. They use it in the kids section, where kids can create the artwork that they see in their heads that they wouldn't normally have the skills to do on paper or on a computer or whatever.
And I feel like that's an appropriate use. And I actually, several months ago, I had a rant about AI art, and someone came onto my post and said, well, it makes art accessible and inclusive. And I kind of had to take a step back from my, AI art is crap. It should not be allowed. But I had to take a step back because I was speaking from a place of privilege. Yeah. And I'll just say, I'm sorry, because it did not occur to me that was an aspect of AI art and AI creativity and using it in that field. Yeah,
that was the first time I really thought of it that way either. It's one of those check your privilege moments. Exactly. I do have the ability to, maybe not so much sketch and draw in the traditional sense, but I do know how to create things on programs like Photoshop and Illustrator. I can do that. Mm-hmm. I can design, but not everybody can.
Yeah, and I do a lot of sketching. I've pencil paper my whole life. I've done that, and I use my tablet and I have my pencil and I sketch and I do a lot, and it is a place of privilege. Yeah, that I can hold a paintbrush. I am very pro using AI for this. Yes, I just 100%. It was just not a thing that, like you said, a place of privilege. It was not a thing that I thought of until someone brought it to my attention, and I was like, oh my gosh. Oh. Yeah. Oh crap. I am just a terrible person. Yeah. I'm just a terrible, terrible person for thinking like this, and check your privilege right now. Yeah. Leave it at the door. Okay.
But so yes, I agree that AI can absolutely be wonderful in times like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also agree with you that if we can regulate it, that would be the ideal future.
Yeah.
Like, artists will absolutely give their permission for their art to be used in instances like that, where to make their art more accessible. That would be very fulfilling for that artist. So
100%. I mean, it would be for me. Like, if I could create a piece of art that we've talked about this with our patrons on our Patreon page. If I could create something that inspires you to create something, whether it's an imitation of that or whether it's something on your own, I'm winning. Yeah. I'm 100% winning, and I am loving that, just to create that and to inspire creativity in someone else.
Yeah. It's the whole to share magic is to create magic thing. Yeah. But with consent.
With consent. Yeah, I think that's
the only flaw with all of this.
Yeah, and I'm not like regulate everything. I just want it to have the option, because a lot of my friends who are artists and artists I follow have gone back and forth on the AI. I've been reading conversations for the past couple years about the use of this. They use AI themselves, like, in the Photoshop, or to tweak a photo or to enhance a color, that sort of thing. And it's just a matter, it's the people who rip this thing and say, I did this.
Yeah.
And it's mine.
It's the users who try to profit
off of other people. Yeah. And that's where I struggle.
Yeah.
And I really struggle when it's like, it's not even a good picture and they have 8 fingers, or, their ear blends into their nose, just like, come on.
Obvious AI.
Obvious AI. It's just a little, it's the trick of the Fae. Count the fingers, count the shadows.
Yeah.
Know what you're dealing with.
It's I also like Uncanny Valley vibes. Like, just
it looks just a little off.
Just a little off, then it's probably AI.
Dive a little deeper.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder. Like AI is learning.
Because it's
learning. And that is a whole other subject. I told you earlier, I was like, oh gosh, I had like 22 tabs open.
Yeah.
And that was, how does AI learn?
Oh man.
It's bonkers.
That can be
like,
a deep
that's
dive.
A whole
Maybe
other.
We can do a series of mini episodes. I know we keep teasing mini episodes and we haven't put any out
yet.
We will.
We'll eventually have time to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole other deep dive, like just how AI learns.
Yeah.
And I did find one little thing that I'm going to throw in there about how AI learns.
Okay.
Is obviously they program it way back in the ancient days when I was in high school. In the ancient times, one of the first things they taught us was GIGO, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out.
Okay.
A computer can only work with what is put into it. Like, it can only work with those 5 million chess moves that were put into it. It can't invent a new chess move.
Uh-huh.
Well, now it can.
Oh, brilliant.
And they're not exactly sure how it learned to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, that will be an
problem.
Episode of the future.
Yeah.
I like I said, I spent about an hour kind of diving through 22 tabs of articles. And basically what I pulled from it was, they don't know how.
Yeah.
AI is teaching itself to learn.
Oh boy.
And it's teaching itself to learn crazy fast.
Wow.
And crazy good.
Okay.
Skynet. Yeah, it's a little wild and it's a little scary.
Okay, it is a little scary, but on a positive note, it could also open up so many new avenues of exploration for everything. We can do deep sea exploration. We can do space exploration, like the stuff that humans have not been able to crack. Maybe AI will be able to.
I have a quote.
Oh, great. I am going to keep talking for a second.
Do it.
To refer back to one of our own quotes that I'm reading on the back of your computer right now is, we do not tell stories of the monsters in the darkness, only the possibilities therein. So that's going to be in a book that we publish someday, The Scarab Whispers. And it's basically referring to, like, you could fear the unknown or you could get excited for it. Because within the unknown, there might be scary, dark things, but there's also brightness and light and hope and
which refers to the other sticker, Hope Punk.
Hope punk. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm,
We were talking about all the punks. Yeah. Hope
Yeah.
punk is a thing. So like, yeah, it's just a matter of perspective and just hoping for a good outcome with computers learning by themselves.
I know it's a little terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, because I grew up with Terminator, right?
Yeah.
Like Skynet said, humans can't take care of themselves, so I'm going to do it for them. iRobot, humans can't take care of themselves, I'm going to do it for them. That's the story.
Yeah.
But it does it to such an extreme point that humans are now terrified of robots and have to fight against the machine.
Yes.
Rage against the machine. That's like in my head, like thinking of all this like craziness.
All the bad things.
All the bad things. I'm glad I got this topic. I was a little terrified when I pulled it. I was like, oh man, I hate this. I was like, I don't like this, but it has shifted my viewpoint. I feel like I'm talking forever.
That's okay. I think this is like one of my favorite episodes so far. Like
like I said, I had so many tabs open.
Yeah.
I want to give you 2 quotes, and this is from the Computer History Museum, those panels I was talking about earlier.
Uh-huh.
Ilya Sutskever, I'm sorry if I'm saying that name wrong, who is works with OpenAI. His quote is, "As AI improves, it should be able to solve a huge number of problems that society has, from small things like global warming to international relationships, to massive scale, mega cheap, autonomous healthcare, to curing diseases, extending lives, and living on other planets."
Whoa.
And he gave that quote, and he got a little chuckle from the audience. But also like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's Hope Punk, right? That's
Yeah.
right there. Like, let's see what it can do. And then another quote, kind of the other side, from Eric Horvitz. He's deeply concerned about tech being in malevolent hands, nation states or teams or groups of bad actors. Without proper policy and technical guardrails, we could be entering a post-epistemic world where nobody knows what is actually going on because of the power of these systems to manipulate, synthesize, and create alternative realities, and to make them as real as the reality we see with our own senses in the open world. Deep fakes.
Wow.
I mean, this is happening right now.
Yeah.
He said he's hopeful that methods being explored in technology and legal space will help us stay ahead of that possible future. And I'm like, nope, we're here. You go online and you have hundreds of proof that Bigfoot exists, or proof that there are aliens, or proof that this, because it's a video.
Yep.
And this is just something that somebody's done with their camera. A simple iPhone
project.
or a simple first cool project, right? It's a little terrifying.
Yeah. Fact check.
But fact checked everything.
Yeah.
Fact check everything. I want to say that again. Fact check it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to question. Question everything.
Question everything.
I mean, that's been a saying forever. And I think it's even more so true right now because AI is so powerful and growing. And this question, he said, without proper policy and technical guardrails, that was something they noticed in the AI learning. There are guardrails built into AI. A computer can only do what's put into it.
Uh-huh.
AI is learning to jump those guardrails. I know. I'm like, okay, I'm terrified, but also maybe it's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're going to see.
We'll hope for a good future.
We're going to hope for the good future. We're going to put those positive vibes out there.
Yeah.
We're going to manifest positivity and good
put
things.
Positivity into the universe and into computers.
Into the computers. I'm talking to my computer here right now. Do good things. Yeah, like I said, I can go on for hours and hours. I am still on the fence, leaning a little more positively towards
AI
it.
has its place.
It has its place. Yeah, 100%. Wow, I feel like I just like, oh, how do I come on down off of this? Let's draw some cards for our next subjects.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll go first. I think you went first last time. I can't remember. That was a long time ago. Okay. All right. So many cards. I'm gonna take this one right here. Okay.
Oh,
this
man.
will be fun.
Is it a woman?
It is not. I don't get the women. Those are all like those topics gravitate to you.
I just know.
It might
how
be.
to pick.
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna. I've spoiled it. It's not. is yours.
Oh, okay. This is going to be fun. Oh, wow. Okay. I want to say stuff about it.
I
but
want to say
can't.
stuff about mine,
Yeah.
but also can't.
Yep. I'm a little intimidated by the subject, but
I'm
I hope
honestly, same.
I hope I do it justice.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
know.
So yeah, we have our topics for our next episode, which we're going to probably be recording in just a couple of days before our trip.
Yeah.
If you would like to become a patron, you can find us at patreon.com/JessandHids. You can find us at Jess and Hids Make Words on all the social media. You can find our website, jessandhids.com, which has links to everything everywhere. If you have something you want us to talk about and do some research on, you can send us an email at jessandhids@gmail.com. Follow us.
Yeah.
Tell your friends about us.
Join our Facebook group.
Join our Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the things. You can find everything in our website. I can't think of anything else to say right now.
I actually had a thought.
Okay.
And I'm springing it on you now.
Okay.
But it revolves around our 3 good things
Okay.
thing that we wanted to do.
Yes.
I was like, well, first we were saying that we'll talk about goodbyes throughout history, which is fun, but we keep forgetting to do that.
I keep forgetting to do that, yeah.
So what if we end by saying maybe 3 good things that happened during the week, or 3 good things
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also obviously encourage all of our listeners to think of 3 good things right now about yourself.
Yeah. 3 good things right now about yourself. Just tell them to yourself, or tell your friend if you're listening nearby, or
Yep.
just put it out there
Or
in the universe.
if you want that accountability, email us. Or shoot us a message on wherever wherever you can find us.
Wherever you can find us. Yeah. Just drop us a message. Tell us three good things about yourself.
Yep. I want to know your 3 good things.
Oh, my 3 good things this week. Okay. I created a piece of art that I'm quite happy with.
Yay.
I drew a little squonk.
Yes. You also drew a little Kobold Grim Reaper with a slingshot and Girl Scout cookies.
That was the next thing I was going to say. We did a little badge quest game, which is a D6 based game, and we met Kevin the Grim Reaper, and I tied him into Kevin the Kobold from our D&D campaign. So I have another little piece of art of Kevin the Kobold / Grim Reaper, who has a slingshot instead of a scythe, and he's carrying around a box of Thin Mints.
Yeah.
Which is just, that's the whole thing. But I think the good thing about that is creating art. That's what I want to do more of. Yeah. So I've done two pieces of art this week that have made me really happy and brought me joy.
Yay.
And that I've been like, okay, I'm happy with these. I'm going to show them to people, which is not something I just do it and erase it. So that, and then one more thing, I have been cross-stitching again, which I have not done in several years. So that is my 3 good things.
Yeah.
What are your 3 good things?
My 3 good things, I felt really good about the yoga class that I taught this week.
Which I missed because I had a migraine.
It was sad. But I walked away sore from it. And I mean, that doesn't sound like a good thing. But
sore in a good way.
It was the good kind of sore, the kind of sore that I'm like, yeah, I did something
awesome,
and it was good. And I hope my students felt the same way. I don't know. And the dog sitting job that we had ended this week. And when I went to go talk to the pet owners after they got back, they were just raving about the good job that we did, and how their dogs were just so calm and chill, and there was no anxiety when they got home.
I love that.
I know, that made me happy.
That made me happy too.
And that's a good thing for you too.
Yeah.
And then, number 3.
You're like, third thing.
I don't know.
This was your idea.
I know. We got the Hope Punk stickers in the mail that I designed.
Oh yeah, I do. I love these little designs. That's going to be one of our patron perks.
Yeah.
For our Blade Dancers.
Our Blade Dancer, our highest tier perk, gets merch in the mail from us, and it's usually something that I design, and we send them out quarterly, so they get 3 bits of just whatever in the mail each quarter. And so this one will probably be March.
Yeah, March is when our mailing is.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. I really do love that.
Those came in the mail, and
it's a little
happy.
Holographic sticker.
Yeah.
It's got the Hope Punk design that you did. I really do love it.
Yeah.
So yay, 3 good things. Everybody,
3 good things.
go out there and put your 3 good things out into the universe.
Okay.
And embrace them and love yourselves and be kind to yourselves. Take a moment, give yourselves a hug, and just be kind to yourselves. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.